All right. So how do you feel that you have grown as a member of the collaborative team?
I feel a little bit more comfortable to speak up and to either ask questions or, feedback or when I don't understand things. And I feel like I just better understand how things go here coming from a previous school. It's just the collaboration is a little different, but I feel like it's better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's that safe environment.
Yes.
To do that.
Yes.
And be vulnerable at times.
Yes.
No, gotcha. So thinking about in our collaborations and making adjustments to instruction, did you take anything or have you taken anything from those meetings back to your classroom that you have found effective and that have impacted your students and made a difference?
Well, I mean, I don't know if this was in collaboration, but just like talking to you, I mean, I guess it is,
Mhm.
and just kind of figuring out how to balance, all of the small group with the what do you call them?
Like your stations?
Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
thank you. The stations, and just finding a way that it works for me. And, I've talked to you about that. I've talked to my other two math teammates, and it seems like, they kind of do the same thing. So being
Mhm.
able to like kind of wrap my head around that in a different way,
Yeah.
made it work for me,
Right.
where it felt more like what I was used to doing anyways.
Yeah.
And changing things up. And it flows really well now. Yeah.
And you see it with your students.
Yes.
And that's just it. When you're more comfortable, it makes them more
Mhm.
comfortable. And
Yes.
if you're taking those risks and they take those risks too. So, yeah. What's one area, and you may have answered this, but what's one area that you have improved in due to working with the team? So you kind of just talked
Yeah.
about those targeted small groups. So,
Yeah. And I don't know, I've always been a data person,
Mhm.
and it took me a minute to like just wrap my head around just a new environment and new like everything. So I feel like I've gotten back to really analyzing the data and looking at, certain TEKs and then readjusting small groups and things like that. Or pulling, okay, from this test, everybody bombed this TEK. So I'm going to pull something specifically for that to be maybe our must do for today and, guide my instruction and maybe like warm up and
like
mini
that
lesson.
everyone's
Mhm.
doing
Yeah.
as opposed to this.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, just making sure I was following. I thought that's what you meant. I just wanted to be sure. So what strategies in our meetings have led to effective collaboration? So what do we have that makes it to where it's an effective versus a
Well,
non-effective?
it is very formal in the sense that, we start each meeting the same way. Like there's an agenda, we start with celebrations, there's a process that you follow. So you know every single time what to expect. It's not just like we show up and today we're talking and we get off
Right.
track. I mean,
Right.
there's a planned agenda, but I also think that like at least with my grade level, there's a comfort there that it's easy to talk. It's easy to have sometimes those hard conversations when writing week didn't go its best and
Yeah.
or we need to adjust something and like change it immediately.
Right.
So just it feels comfortable.
Good.
Yeah,
That includes.
even though it's formal and it's productive and it's business when we get there, but it still is a comfortable process.
Right. No, that's what you want so that when it's time to have those difficult conversations, you can, and it's not just a waste of time or it's just extra something we have to do. It's actually productive to where you're taking something back into your classroom and being able to do it. No, I love that. So what is something, so thinking about the collaborative meetings, I know I'm going to challenge you. So what's something that you would change in our meetings to make it more effective? So even if it's just once in a while, what are things that happen or what's something that we could change to where you feel that it's more effective? If anything.
I mean, sometimes I wish we had more like breakout time.
Yeah.
But also like, could we meet with other people? Like not just always break into math and ELA, but could there be, meeting with, I don't know, like the EB teachers and things like that.
So they're different specialists.
Right. Or like our GT, just to kind of see like touch base with what are they doing? This is what we're working on in class. Is there something that, you can do to support that or to, deepen the content?
Well, especially for our non-GT kids, those higher level thinkers who could still do
Yeah.
some of that. No, that's a good idea. What is the greatest challenge that we came across in meetings? Or what's something that's been challenging, even if it was for you? It might not have been the whole
Yeah.
meeting, but what's something that's been challenging?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if like in those sessions, when we break out into content areas, if it's always the most productive, like if we get stuff done.
Mhm. Like if we get off track, like
Right.
we get back
I mean,
on.
it's, we're always talking about the content
Right.
or the kids or whatever, but I just, and it's not every time. There's just sometimes that it's like, okay, well, what did we get done this
Mhm.
morning?
Right.
You know, like, did we make a plan? I mean, it's a little easier when we break into, like, when we meet just as a team, just
Yeah.
as math. Those are very productive.
And I feel like sometimes the conversations, the reason they get like that is because we start getting away from the data
Yes.
and more about, oh, I think, or oh, I feel, and it's like,
Yeah.
come back.
Well, and there's a lot of people in there too. So,
There are.
you know, people chiming in with ideas or, you know, just so, yeah.
Sometimes just the time.
Yeah.
We run out of time because it's like, I want to hear your idea. Can we talk about it tomorrow? So how impactful do you think the meetings were when we use data to specifically
Mhm.
set and target those small groups?
Very, very effective. Like I said, with, you know, looking at each, whether it's a daily grade or it's a major grade, a unit test that we have to take. I mean, it's just to be, when you're constantly looking at it and you're constantly adjusting, you know, you always have your kids that you know are gonna kind of consistently be in that lower range.
Right.
But then there's those surprises. And if you're paying attention to it and you're looking at it, you're like, whoa, you know, you always do so well. Come over, come sit back here, join this small
Right.
group, or, you know, now you can go to another teacher and we can, you know, flex in that way.
Yeah.
Because if you're not looking at it, you're gonna miss kids. But then also to see growth and be like, wow, you know, you did so much better. I'm just so proud of you. So
Or you understood
Um,
this concept, but
yeah, correct. It's just constant and ever changing.
that cyclical pattern.
Yeah.
Use the data, create your lesson, check it again. What impacts have there been in student learning? So you were just kind of talking
Yeah.
about like those hidden gems and those hidden kind of,
Yeah,
Hey,
it makes me think of my one friend in particular that has gone from in Star Ren.
Mhm.
I mean, and his grades are showing that too, but Star Ren being in, I think in the beginning of the year, it was in the 5th percentile to the 73rd percentile. And I mean, he came barely speaking English and we just, I mean, swooped him in and put him in all the groups and all the tiers and everything that he needed. And it's, I mean, it's helping. You can, I mean, the numbers are showing it.
Yeah.
And on his test, going from, yeah, I mean, and the content was different from the beginning of the year, but, you know, making 30s and 40s to we're making high 70s, you know, and 80s. So, I mean, he's one of a few, but I feel like he's the biggest.
Do you see that that has impacted like his confidence
Yes.
and his ability to participate more? in classroom?
Absolutely. Absolutely. He's always raising his hand. I mean, I can just see that he feels more confident when he's doing things. You know, and he can't wait to hit submit. To see what he got. Yeah.
No, I love that.
Yeah.
That's good.
I'm proud of him.
Yes. Can you share an example from your, so you just shared about him, but can you share an example of how you've seen overall? So not just individually, but overall, how have you seen impacts from like your targeted small groups and using that data?
Yeah. I mean, the kids that are in my targeted small groups, you know, there's certain teaks that you have to just keep drilling them and drilling them. And to
Petition.
see that it, you know, someone, when the first time we took like our multiplication and division test and those like 2-step problems,
Mhm.
you're missing all 3 of them to, okay, now you're getting 2 out of the 3 correct,
Yeah.
you know, or all of them. I mean, as a whole, the progress from the beginning of the year, and again, it's different content, but I do feel like things are flowing more smoothly. And I feel like what I'm seeing is participation, and on these whiteboards when I'm walking around, we're right.
Yeah.
You know, we
Yeah.
are, whereas there was a lot of misunderstanding or confusion,
Mhm.
and even from unit to unit, from